All right, I'm going to go over some of these problems from the homework that I gave you. It is due on Thursday, September 22nd. So all of these problems are dealing with angle bisectors. So let's look at the first one. Well, before I do that, let's remind ourselves what it means when something is bisected. It means that it is cut in half, whether it be a segment or an angle. So when you have an angle bisector, it means that you have an angle that's been cut in half. And if something is cut in half, that means you have two equal parts. Okay? If you cut 20 in half, you get 2 10s, right? So if you cut an angle in half that's 90 degrees, you get 2 45s, and so on. All right? So let's look at the first one. It says measure of angle 1 if measure of angle 2 is 25 degrees. Well, if the measure of angle 2 is 25, that means the measure of angle 1 had to be 25. All right? That's number 1. Let's go to number 7. Okay, now be careful on this one. It says the measure of angle UST. UST is going to be this entire angle. And it says angle 2 is 23 degrees, which means angle 1 must be 23 degrees, which means the entire angle together must be 23 plus 23, which is 46 degrees. All right. Think about this one for a second, then we'll go over it. All right, looking at number 13, you have to be very careful on these, on this one in particular. It says the measure of angle 1 is 6x minus 1. The measure of angle 2, no, it doesn't say angle 2. The measure of angle RTS, which is this entire angle, is 10x plus 4 for this entire angle. So what is the relationship between measure of angle 1 and measure of angle RTS? Well, I'll tell you, this is what most students are going to write right off the bat. Now, if it had said the measure of angle 2 is equal to 10x plus 4, this would be right. Unfortunately, it doesn't say the measure of angle 2. It says the measure of angle RTS. So this right here is not right. Not right. Don't want that. What is the relationship between those two angles? Well, number 1 and number 2 are congruent. They are equal. But what about number 1 to the entire angle? Well, it should be, if you're thinking about bisectors, it should be half. So there are two different equations we could use. We could say that 6x minus 1 is equal to 1/2 of 10x plus 4, or we could do this equation. 2 times 6x minus 1 is equal to 10x plus 4. Right? Now think of why these equations work. For this first one, this angle here is equal to half, so that angle which is represented, which is 1, is equal to half of the entire thing. If you look at this equation down here, 2 times our angle 1 is equal to the entire thing. So both of these are going to be okay. I'm going to solve both of them. All right, so here we have 6x minus 1 is equal to, you have to distribute, and that's going to be 5x plus 2. Then you want to, well, any number of things you could do. I'm going to add 1, and then add 1, and I'm going to have 6x is equal to 5x plus 3, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5x, and we get x is equal to 3. Right? That's what we were looking for, right? X. Now, if you did it this way, do the same thing. Distribute. We have 12x minus 2 is equal to 10x plus 4. So what I want to do, I want to add 2. All right, so now I have 12x equals 10x plus 6. I'm going to subtract 10x, and I'm going to get 2x is equal to 6, divided by 2, and x is equal to 3. So either way, you get x is equal to 3. All right, looking at number 19 now. It says the measure of angle 2 is 5x plus 10. The measure of angle 1 is negative 4 plus 7x. That's how they're being represented. Now, they're giving us the two angles. What's the relationship? If this blue line, which I know on your homework it's not blue, but if you're watching this video it is blue, or it was blue until I colored it red, that line is the angle bisecting. That means that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. So our equation now is going to be 5x plus 10 is equal to negative 4 plus 7x. We're going to solve that for x. So go ahead and try and do that. Take a second, and I'll come back. All right, hopefully you tried that. Let's go ahead and I'm going to draw my line here. I don't always do that, but I did it here. So I'm going to plus 4 here. I'm going to do it this way. And I have 5x plus 14 is equal to 7x. Then I want to subtract 5x, and I end up with 14 is equal to 2x. Then I'm going to divide by 2, and you get x is equal to 7. So for 19, our answer is 7. All right, looking at number 35, it says the measure of angle 1 is 12x minus 1, represented by 12x minus 1. And the measure of angle 2 is represented by 11x plus 2. Now, what is the relationship between these two angles? Well, they're obviously equal to one another. Hopefully you figured out by now. So I have 12x minus 1 is equal to 11x plus 2. Now, let's notice what they're wanting us to find. The measure of angle VTU. Where is VTU? That is right here, VTU, right? There we go. So how are we going to find that? Well, if we can find x, we can plug it in here, get this angle measure, plug it in here, get this angle measure, and then we'll go from there. So let's solve this first of all. You should take a second to try and solve it. All right, so I'm going to draw my line. Plus 1, and then 12x is equal to 11x plus 3. Subtract 11x. X is equal to 3. All right? Now, we have what x is equal to. What we're going to do is now plug it in here, get each of those angles. So, what's 12 times 3 minus 1? Well, 36 minus 1 is 35. So angle 1 is 35. Angle 2 should be the same, but let's plug it in just in case. 11 times 3, 33, plus 2, 35. So 35. Now, your answer is not 35. Your answer is not 3. Your answer is to find the angle VTU. So what is VTU? You have to add 1 and 2 together. That is your angle VTU, 70 degrees. I hope that helped. If you have any questions on specific ones, you can come and ask me, but hopefully that's going to put you in the right direction.